what kind of options we can hook you up with.
Yes.
Wow.
Good afternoon, everybody.
How you doing?
Yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday.
Beautiful-ish. I mean, when it's this hot, it's just ish.
You know what's crazy? So I had something happen to me last week. I've been living here in the Valley since 1987.
Uh-huh.
And I'm driving down Baseline Road, and I'm on Baseline between Sauceman and Power Road.
Okay. Over by the hub.
Yeah, over by the hub and the Moose, yeah. And I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden this animal starts running into traffic right in front of me with a rabbit in its mouth. And I'm like, what is that?
Coyote?
So that's what I was
bobcat?
thinking. I mean, obviously, and then all of a sudden I'm like, it can't be a coyote. It's just too small and doesn't look anything like a coyote. And it had this real bushy tail. And I'm like, what is that? And I've seen a bunch of bobcats because I live in Las Sendas.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
East
They
Mesa.
don't have a bushy tail. It's little, nothing.
Exactly. And so this thing has a bushy tail, and it's got like this pointed nose. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is that a fox?
Whoa. You saw a fox?
I saw what I thought to be a fox.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I should take a picture of this because it literally stopped. I had to stop in the middle of Baseline Road.
So you didn't run
beep
it
the
over?
horn, so I didn't run it over.
45 miles an hour.
And beep the horn. Because I was like one of the only people on the road at the time.
Yeah.
I beeped the horn and it ran off with a rabbit in its mouth. Son of a gun, I'm telling the story later on that day, and he's like, oh yeah, there's foxes that live on the golf course right there on Baseline and Power.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to go, we lost a bunny.
No.
Your friend tells you back.
I had no idea that there were fox in Arizona. I had no clue.
Wow.
Did you know that?
You know what? I didn't think that there were foxes. I know we have the coyotes. I know we have the little pack wolves, stuff like that. I never thought that we had foxes.
Yeah. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I'm an expert on all carnivores here and really knew about the foxes. No idea. I've never knew that there was a fox. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Did you try to save the rabbit or was it already done?
Oh, the rabbit was done. He was looking for a place to go have lunch.
Oof.
Yeah.
Silly wabbit.
Nature happening right there, dude.
Kevin, did you know there was fox here in the valley?
Never heard of foxes
Oh, hold on.
in the
Yeah,
desert.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Never heard of foxes in the desert. I know they're up in the mountains, but not down here.
Are they up in Payson by your dad?
Yeah.
Are they
yeah,
really?
They got foxes down up
Huh.
there.
I did not know that.
Is it foxes? Is that the plural way to say
I think
that?
it's fox.
Yeah, I
No,
think
no,
it's just
no. It's foxes.
Are you
If
sure?
there's more than
Yeah, I'm
one,
pretty
when
sure,
you
yeah.
say,
There
I
was a-
saw foxes,
There was a bunch of fox.
A group of fox?
There's a
No,
bunch of
that sounds like you're talking
Oh,
nasty,
man.
dude. Watch out.
it's a bunch of
It's a
moose.
bunch of
We're
fox.
gonna get another
bunch of moose.
Easy, you fox.
We're gonna get another email from
No, I'm serious. I think
Okay.
that's plural.
foxes. No,
It's foxes. Foxes.
Are you sure?
Hold on. I'll Google it.
You
but
Google
God.
it because I think
Is this
hey, I
New
went and
York
I saw a bunch
schooling
of fox.
right here? Just
I
fox.
saw a bunch. No, foxes.
Fox plural.
We saw a bunch of foxes.
It's foxes. Foxes.
All right, well then I'm wrong.
It's that New York education.
There were
And I
so
went.
many.
I went to Fox Lane. I went to Fox Lane High School, New York.
Oh,
Then you should know. Go Foxes. You didn't
We didn't say
get
go
up and say,
Foxes.
"Go
Now that I think about
Fox."
it, we said, yeah, go Foxes, go. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah. That's
Oh
true.
my
yeah.
God! Do you know
I
right
remember the
now
cheers.
the
Yes.
foxes are mad at you, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you
I saw
remember the
so
school
many
fight
fox.
song?
Anyway.
It sounds like it could be.
Beat
No.
the fox.
Whatever.
So I'm
Okay.
surprised it stopped in the middle of the road though, because it's so hot. It is so hot that it would just be burning its feet. And speaking of how hot it is, I feel like we need to address something because you're judging me.
Oh.
Every time
I always judge you.
well, first of all, yeah, I pulled up today and parked right next to Doug.
It's a
my
horrible
parking
truck.
spot is next to him, and I had to drive a big red old truck.
Yeah, it's a great. truck.
It's horrible.
What kind of truck
it's
is it,
It's
Dylan?
huge diesel truck, and his mirrors stick out, and he goes right into my space. You know, I have my parking space. He has his, and the
in
thing
your
like gets
space?
too close to my car. I don't like it. He gets out. His door comes within a half inch
Oh, man.
and sometimes he's a little bit big, so sometimes it actually hits my door.
Hits your door.
Yes.
Oh my
Never has
God,
hit his
dude!
door.
Really?
We have a whole pillar between us.
You don't know better than to not hit Doug's door?
You go out to the what do you call his truck again?
Oh, the truck? I'm just joking. It's a very happy truck.
Oh, wait.
No, come on.
Can we
Just
cut
joking.
Kevin's microphone? Okay.
Yeah,
here we go.
Rivalon
Good,
truck. The makeup truck.
Yeah, the makeup truck.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has no dings on it. But yeah, the one thing I will say that I might agree with you on is that the air conditioning is not very good. So when it gets up to 115 like it was, I'm pouring sweat going.
Well, it's
to
because
some
he's got
appointments.
that.
Why are you
Why
driving that
don't
today?
you? Yeah.
Because I cannot drive my other car to certain appointments. I'm not taking my sports car to South Phoenix. I'm not doing it.
Well, what happened to the Tesla?
Oh, Tesla's gone.
You got rid
Why
of it.
would you get rid of the Tesla when you drive a lot?
Oh my goodness! Because
you get-
I'm a
okay, hold on.
red-blooded American.
You got rid of the Tesla for the Corvette that you
I
can't
wanted
drive?
the sound of a V8 behind me. I needed it. I drove the Tesla for 70,000 miles. It was time for a change.
He saw the Hellcat and was like, I need something.
Dude.
Yeah, I
that's
wanted
just-
something that would beat it.
Can I make you a suggestion for you?
Yes.
What does your wife drive?
Suburban.
Drive that. Why didn't you bring that?
Get a
Because
minivan.
the truck is awesome.
The truck's not
The
awesome.
truck is horrible, man.
I like the truck.
It's
I'm
like
with
a
Dylan.
1982.
I know, I've ridden
It's
in it.
19, it's 2006.
No.
It is. It's 2006. It's the last
So
year
it's-
before.
okay, 18-year-old truck.
By the way, you kind of own the truck. It's registered in Payson
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know why.
because I don't have to do emissions that way.
You better watch it.
Dude,
regulators
Hear
listen
that,
to us.
everybody?
Yeah, it's a good thing that you're a
It's just
part-time
visiting
resident.
down here. It
In
really lives
season.
up in Payson.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
So, wow, we've got Kevin going off. We've got Dylan going to jail. What else we got going on, Doug?
I don't know. And I'm seeing foxes.
Right, and you're seeing
I
Fox.
see so many fox.
There's a ton of Fox up in the house.
Get the fox out of here. All right. So, how's the real estate going? I hear that you guys are maybe having another record month this month.
We're a little bit behind. Last month we had a record month.
Right.
We're a little bit behind, but hey, we got a week to go. Speaking of next week's show, everyone, you got to turn into next week's show. I'm not going to say who it is. We're going to have a very, very special guest on next week.
Not Kevin's parents.
No.
Although they would be very special.
They would be.
Everyone has heard of this person that is listening to this show right now, and it's going to be a very, very awesome conversation next week. So very, very much looking forward to next week. So make sure you turn in at noon. I'll talk about it again later, but
Well, the sad news
tease
is
it a little bit.
Dylan won't be here.
I was going to say that was the good news.
I was going to say the same thing, but what are you going to do?
We had to make room for this person.
Exactly.
They're going to be very much more entertaining than Dylan, for sure.
Well, kind of. We planned it around me being gone because I'm going to be at Damon's son's wedding, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to
It has to go off my schedule, not the opposite.
Well, you know what?
Oh!
be. It's all right. Nobody heard that. So,
That's okay.
Anyway,
I'll
if
cut
we're
it.
going to go.
Beep.
Yeah, so we're going to have a.
Dude, you almost spoiled it. Thank God that I've got technology. I got you.
And we're going to have to do two. Because I'm not having that.
No.
Yeah, we're beeping you too.
100%.
Don't beat me. Don't beat
Two
me.
beeps
No
in one
beeping.
segment.
We
We
haven't
haven't
had
had
a beep for a minute.
Chris, when was the last time we had a
somebody
beep?
ever? This is
When was
two
the last
beeps in
time
one
we had a beep?
segment.
No beeps.
Over a year.
Come
easily.
on.
Jeez, you guys.
Anyway.
You're going to get us in trouble with KTAR, and then they're going to have a meeting.
Doug Hopkins is out of control.
all right,
Let's
Let's
get
go.
back.
All right, let's get into some real estate here. Phoenix named the best market for 2024 college grads. You guys hear about this? A Zillow report.
Oh,
How fun is this? This is according to Zillow's annual ranking. Phoenix is due mostly to the city's affordable rental market, Doug.
Where are you getting these stats from?
Hey, this came from Zillow, so check
Chris
this out.
is
It said
pulling
residents,
up fake
it's amazing.
stats.
residents need only spend
affordable.
34.5% of their income. That's affordable? 34.5% of their income?
I don't know where. Is that from like 10
This
years
is from
ago?
Zillow's annual ranking. They actually say that one of the other things that they take into consideration is the number of jobs that are here. It says 50.5% of the rental listings offer some sort of concession to the renters, like free parking or a month of free rent or free access to gym memberships, things like that. So they say that there's actually a value here.
Is that in comparison with like Southern California?
This is according to all the nations in the whole
all the
cities-
nations in the whole
All the nations in the
all
whole
the cities
world.
in the whole nation. My bad.
All the foxes.
All the Fox.
So, yeah, I mean, first of all, rents have gone up like insane amounts over the last 5 years.
Kevin.
And, right? Go ahead.
Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a reason Zillow's stock is down so much. Okay, they're putting out stuff like this. Are you telling me there's not places in the Midwest
100%.
that you can't get for less than, I don't know, $2,000 a
They
month to
said
rent?
this,
Nice
though. In
places.
addition to Phoenix's generous rental market, the city has an abundance of job prospects, with the job market ranking number 2 out of all the cities on Zillow's list. So they're saying that the prospects and the ability to pay that note is better here than it is anywhere else.
Well, I do think there's a lot of jobs. I do.
There
agree with
is.
that.
But how much are you going to make? I mean, most of those jobs are minimum wage jobs.
Not going to be able to afford to get a house here, huh?
No.
Yeah, Doug doesn't want you to move here.
It's time for
Thanks,
another
Zillow.
strongly. And Doug, you can always get at 1-800-SELL-NOW.
So the quickest way to get censored on our show is to try to talk crap about Doug's truck or give up the secret guest.
I guess so.
Don't do that.
I don't know. I think
You will all get beeped.
no beeping.
You'll all get beeped.
I don't think we've got beeped in like a year, and we had 2 in one
In
segment.
one segment.
Unbelievable.
That's a
Yeah.
record.
Yeah,
That's
at least
the heat's getting to you boys.
I got a story for you. I played pickleball with this guy. It was about 10:30. It was so hot. We shouldn't have been playing. And at the end, he started like talking gibberish. Like he couldn't talk. He had a heat stroke.
What?
Yeah. We told him, we walked him to his car, turned on the air, gave him some water, and he's like started to be normal. But yeah, he was like
10:30 in the morning or at night?
Yeah, I thought he in the morning. I thought he was
What
maybe
was this
having a
gentleman's
stroke.
So when you come here after playing pickle, this all makes sense
Yeah,
now,
this is
Kevin.
like half the time is when you're talking
just-
gibberish.
Yeah,
You might
you're
be
an
having a heat
invalid,
stroke right now.
and it could be heat stroke.
No, because I play at 6:30 in the morning, and it's not as hot.
Weird, because you just said you played at 10:30.
I'm
So
talking
now
about the
you're
other,
a liar.
the other day. And this was like last week. So be careful out there. You'll get heat stroke, and he didn't even realize it.
You're one of those people that goes and hikes on them hills after 9 a.m. too, aren't you?
No, I'm not really much of a hiker.
Hey, we teed off at golf at 3:30 the other day.
Oh yeah, I can't believe you did that.
God,
After
dude.
14 holes, I'm like, I'm done. This is ridiculous. It's not fun.
You find sweat in places it shouldn't just go.
Oh, it's not. I could do that when I was, 18 years old and whatnot, even into my 20s. But my 50s now, going out in that heat, I don't like it.
Dude, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know what it is about getting older. It makes it that much worse. But we were out there when we were kids in stuff that was just as bad as this.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
Yep, I played all day.
The rule was get home by the time that the streetlights came on.
And we play soccer.
That's it.
Running around constantly.
Like idiots, no water.
No water.
I was going to ask, Doug, I think that we need to get a branch in Montana. That way during the summer for the 4 hot months of the year, we can all just go up there to work.
I agree with you.
No,
Really?
seriously, could you do that?
Can you do something?
No, our whole business is down here. We're not
You
going
could
to
write it off.
I like that idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buy some house in Montana.
Yeah.
My friend of ours have a place. It's beautiful over there.
I've never been to Montana. I've always wanted to go.
It's amazing. Place.
We should go for our trip this year.
Get horses, little ranch
I thought our
house.
trip was going to Tennessee.
We are. But
Are you guys going to Tennessee?
Supposed to go to Nashville.
Oh, well, that's cool.
yeah, Doug said, we can only go if we hit our goal. And somehow we're almost halfway through the year and we're like almost 70% there.
Really?
Pretty fun.
Earn that trip, buddy.
We'll see.
That's awesome.
Also, in regards to numbers, last month we hit 85 contracts. Our previous record month was 75.
Wow.
Pretty
10
well.
more.
10
That's freaking awesome.
And so now we're not, Doug alluded to, we're not quite hitting the all-time record. And that's because
You
that
guys
was
blew it out
crazy.
of the water. Yeah,
That was
You put a
amazing.
new high bar up
Well,
there.
listen,
huh?
you guys need to make sure you step it up because I get to go on these trips, and I don't want to be slacking and sitting at home.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, it's really cool that we do these, though, Doug. Thank you. For everybody that doesn't know, last year we went to Austin. We've gone and done a cruise. We've gone to Park City. We've gone to Tahoe. We've gone all over the place.
San Diego.
San Diego, yep. It's really an amazing time to get together with the whole team, build those relationships, and
Doug,
we're
you
not
want
just
to
talking
take a
about
moment to
escrows.
talk about your cruise experience?
are you still
Well,
mad at
everyone
that?
went on the cruise except me.
Yeah.
I know. It's just every time we say cruise, you got to say something.
angry.
Darn Red Bull. And I hate Carnival Cruise.
Yes.
Carnival Cruises are the worst, and they're horrible customer service. They will not refund money. They're what got me so now you got me on the Carnival Cruise thing.
Now he's angry. Doug's getting angry.
All you got to do is turn his cord.
I had got the most expensive room in the whole thing, and I'm like, I knew a few days before I wasn't going to be going, and I'm like, okay, I understand you're not going to refund my money, but I want to give that room to somebody
Just
else
switch it to
that's
somebody
on
else's
that has a
name.
regular stateroom.
Yes.
And they said no. And I said, why? I already paid for it. You guys can give away the other room or sell it again or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Why'd they say no?
Because they said we can actually make more money now that you're not going. We can sell that again for full price and get
And
more
not
money.
give you your money back.
Yep.
Dude,
how is that even
legal?
legal?
Yeah, because like if you get somebody, like if you can put somebody in the lease that you were in and all that
Yeah.
stuff, how do they like do that? That's double renting.
I don't know. All I know is that I hate Carnival Cruises. I'll never use them again, and I will badmouth them every time you give me a chance to.
That's why I opened up the floor, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much do you need to earn to buy a home in America? This is amazing. We're turning this number up, up, up. Every time I see this article, it seems to go further and further up. Minimum income required to buy a home now hovers right around $116,000 nationwide. I don't even know. That's not normal.
What's the average income nationwide?
Average income, let's see, threshold varies on where you live. Household income of more than, it says 34 of the 50 largest metros required a larger income than 100,000. Said the typical household income in America was 74,500.
Wow.
So you're under by $30,000, $35,000 before you even hit go.
They need a 50% raise
Just to get
buy
there.
a house.
And that's what we're doing with. I was just talking to a borrower last night. She's making about 60 grand a year, young kid. And the only way
That's
she'll
a
get
good, I mean,
yeah,
that's a good amount
$5
of money.
grand a month. Yeah, I mean, working hard, 40 plus hours overtime. And the only way she get a house is if one of her coworkers, that's her friend, if they go in on it together. Because combined, they'll have 110 grand, and they'll be able to qualify for right about 500,000. And that's pushing it. So yeah, it's tough out there. It really is. And at the same time, otherwise she's going to end up paying $2,500 in rent for a 2-bedroom. So it's
There's not a good way to go. There's no soft spot or easy way out.
Well, yes, there is. If you go by ASU, you can get one of the cheapest rental places in the country, according to Zillow.com. If you're listening to our first segment. So I think that's the answer. Move close to ASU and everything's great.
yes.
And the jobs are great and it's
Everything's
cheap to
good for
live and
grabs.
everything. Yeah, it's just fantastic.
They
Thanks,
said for
Zillow.
Phoenix here, the report states that a home buyer is going to have to make $121,368 a year to afford a median priced home. So that's exactly what you're talking about right
Yes.
there. They're saying even over that 110 mark that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean 110 is barely getting them in, into the market. So yeah, it's tough out there. That's why they have that zero down program, which has gotten a huge amount of publicity from it. Again,
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
You want to tell people about that again? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
just real quick, if you're a first time home buyer, you have a 700 FICO, you buy a $500,000 house, they're gonna give you 15 grand for your down payment money, and then all you'd have to do come up with is closing costs, and of course the sellers can contribute to that, and you got yourself into a house without any money.
So back in the day, they used to have to. There was like a requirement you couldn't get more than a certain amount of money for a loan. Does that affect that, or is that messing with the FHAs and stuff like that?
You mean
or-
your income? Yeah, there's no income limits on this. A lot of these programs, first time home buyer programs, if you made too much, you didn't qualify, right? Because they were trying to make them for lower income people. But the problem is the houses have gone up so much, you have to make more to qualify. So the program's worthless. Now, this new program that just came out really does help people. First time home buyer, and if you haven't owned a home in 3 years, you're considered a first time home buyer also.
So if you sold one and then, or if you, let's say I bought my house 3 years ago,
Yep.
I have to sell it then, and then I can buy that loan.
No. If you were to sell your house 3 years ago and when we're renting, then you.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great program, but again, you still have to make a lot of money to qualify for these houses. And the other thing I gotta say is, before you buy a vehicle, really think about if you want that vehicle or a house.
It's getting that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking
The
at
average payment is like $1,000
Yeah.
a month for vehicles.
and that also affects your ability to qualify, right? Because they look at both ratios. Your
How much you make and how much you spend.
Debt to
and
income.
Debt to income ratio. So the big issue is, you don't want that big that car payment. It's killing you. And I know car rates right now are 8-9%.
Yep.
Right now. So
Even
it's,
for new ones, they're not offering
the
zero.
1 point.
Yeah, remember it used to be 0.9% or whatever. That stuff's gone.
Most of it is, yeah. So the reality is that don't sign that. Buy buy Dylan's truck or something.
There we go.
Buy it off of Dylan so he doesn't park next to me.
We're taking offers at Doug at DougHopkins.com right now.
First of all, everybody wants that truck. You just don't know it, but that truck is an amazing vehicle. Okay, so back to pricing real quick. Something interesting is going on. So we have homes that are below 500,000, and those homes are actually selling pretty quickly as long as they're priced correctly and they're pretty updated, right? Obviously, there's homes that are overpriced that won't sell, and there's homes that are, not as updated that are trying to get too much. Those won't sell either. But if you have a good home right around that's more quote affordable, that home will sell.
Yes.
And then even on the luxury side's not having a big problem either, right?
No.
There are lots of those homes are selling. I mean, we have a couple Scottsdale friends up there that are selling, and those are still selling very well. But the medium ones, the homes that are like 600 to 900, 600 to 1 million, those are tougher right now, for sure.
Yeah. That's a spot not to be in. Okay, we'll get into more of where you want to be and more real estate with the Doug Hopkins Flipping Real Estate Radio.
Good. I'm looking out our window right now.
That's a big ladder, dude, if that guy falls on.
I know.
But he's balancing on the ladder. It looks like he's probably sitting on the top. We cannot see.
Like a saddle.
All I see is two legs
Dangling.
that are dangling and I see from the top of the window.
Is that OSHA compliant?
I think so.
So he looks like he's dancing. His feet are
I
up
know.
moving and stuff.
Dude, I hope he
Oh,
doesn't
it's pretty
fall.
funny.
So check this out. Renters are staying put longer. Says that with 1 in 6 now living in the same home for 10 years or more. Are you seeing that, Doug? You got a lot of rentals. Are people staying put?
Are you talking about tenants are staying?
Yeah, tenants are
Yes.
staying put. It says
Yes.
U.S. It says that more of them are staying for 5 years or longer, but they're more likely to live in one home for a long haul than they were a decade ago.
So I can speak for myself. I have I don't know 60, 70 rentals, something like that. Yeah, a lot of people are staying in the house much longer. We don't have very much turnover. I think there's a couple of things, and I didn't know if it was nationwide or just because.
No, this is nationwide.
So
Yeah.
what I do is I usually try to go under the rent value.
Okay.
So if say the rent's $2,400, I'll
In that
usually
neighborhood for that house?
Yeah, I'll usually be at $2,200.
Okay.
So somewhere in that range, and my houses are very nice, and they're upgraded and updated and whatnot. No, trust me, they're really good.
Doug
They're
puts
really
I've
good.
seen some of the checks that Doug's had to write recently.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Substantial.
So I just had one that was rented for a long time, and then we put it back on the market. It was one of my only vacancies of the year, and it was one I used to own with Kevin actually on Obispo, and it wasn't selling, wasn't renting, and we had it significantly lower than what it was. And I walked into it because I hadn't been in there in 15 years, and realized in my head it was it was in good shape. But I walked in and it was dated as heck.
Oh, wow.
It was,
15 years goes by
12
quick,
inch,
huh?
Yeah, 12-inch tile and, just the carpet had been
Formica
replaced,
countertops.
Formica countertops, the old Hollywood lights in all the bathrooms and whatnot. And so I'm like, all right, take it down. We wound up redoing it. I put like $35,000 into it. And
35.
That's not just paint.
yeah, no. And upped it to market rents and got somebody in immediately.
Wow.
So, people, if they're going to spend $2,400 a month, or more, they want a house that's nice, that they can be proud of. It's hard to go in and go, hey, and a lot of tenants, or not tenants, but landlords, they don't want to put money into their houses. They look at it as just a cash cow, and they, to renovate a house now is a $35,000 bill,
Yeah, it's
sometimes
not
more,
cheap.
depending, if it needs roofs and ACs and everything else. So you have to, and that wasn't even included on that. That was just upgrading the kitchen and the bathrooms and all the flooring.
You didn't
and
do
paint
ACs
and
or
everything.
roof or anything,
No,
huh?
I mean $35,000 doesn't get you far anymore on a remodel.
No.
it really
amazing.
doesn't. It sounds like a big number.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say my average on a say anywhere from a 1,500 to 2,000 square foot house.
Yeah, your normal
1,300 to 2,200, somewhere in there, is $55,000.
55?
55.
And that's if the AC doesn't need to be done and the roof doesn't need to be done.
Correct.
And it wasn't
Pool
built
issues.
in the 60s or 50s and doesn't need new, sewage
Piping
pipes
and-
connected to
Yep.
the sewer main.
Oh, wow.
Is
that
there
stuff
septic?
goes down or what?
Oh, maybe we should check the septic too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's $12,000, needs a whole new system. That didn't happen.
25,000 is a new system.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that might have happened to us last month.
Yeah,
so.
a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's you're not going to find a lot of landlords that are willing to invest in their properties.
It just cuts into their profit. That's all it is.
Yep. And so, but I understand that too, because you're looking at it as, okay, this money is supplementing my income, and so, it's like, okay, should we rent it for $500 cheaper than market per month, or should we, put $35,000 into it and get it for $500 or $600 or $700?
That's a tough equation. Like, how do you sit down and figure out what's more worth it?
So it take you about 5-6 years to get that back? Doing the rough math?
but for me, it's more of I want to make sure that I'm getting quality tenants.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I want people that are going to respect the home. I hold our tenants to a higher standard than most would. So I'm not looking for the people that have 600 FICO scores that have been or gotten stuff taken
really
away,
awful credits and repos, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm looking for the 700 FICO scores and people with jobs that have way more way more money, make way more income than they do for than the rent. And I'm looking for that, and that people honestly that have stayed for. So the longer people stay, the better it is for the landlord, because you're not sitting there. Because anytime somebody moves out, number one, you're probably going to lose a month of rent.
Okay.
Because you have to move out, you have to turn it over, you got to do a bunch of stuff. You're going to have to probably paint the house. You're probably going to have to put in new carpet. You're probably going to have some miscellaneous fix items and whatnot. And you get a little bit of a cleaning deposit, and maybe you get a little bit from the deposit that they put down,
but not enough to cover all of that.
You can have normal wear and tear, and I don't like to take people's money anyway. So we wound up doing it right, and so I like doing it right and having people that want to stay for a long period of time.
Why don't you have your tenants call me and get a loan so they get a house?
No.
They got 700 FICO. They make a lot of money.
Right? But honestly, there's a lot of people right now they're going to be able to find, because of the rates the way they are. Sometimes you can find a rental place that's somewhat similar to what you would buy for a little bit less.
I think that's true. I think over the last year is the first time in Arizona history, well, at least that I know of recent history, where it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy.
I saw news stories about that. Yeah, that's odd.
And so I think that's short-term thinking. Because I think most of my wealth has been accumulated by buying and holding, and not just selling every couple of years to make a few grand. So, I think there's nothing been more tried and true over a long period of time is investing than investing in real estate and holding it for a long period of time. So, I truly believe that even though it may be more expensive in the short term for a monthly payment, that it is more important to buy a home than at any other period of time.
I think you said something about that you make money flipping properties, but you create wealth holding them.
That is correct.
Wow.
So there was a study done. They took people that were 50 years old, and one person rented, but then obviously the other person was a homeowner, and they tested a whole bunch of people that were right around 50 that did this, and the homeowner's net worth was 30 times more than the renter.
That makes sense.
30 times more. So the average American, they hold the vast amount of their net worth in their property.
Yep, equity.
Well, you look at the baby boomers, right? My parents, they bought their house in 1987 for probably $156,000.
Yep.
So that was in 1987. They own it free and clear now, and that house is probably worth $750,000.
Yep.
So they've worked their whole life, haven't made a lot of money, have gotten by for the most part for the last 20 years. Still have a little antique shop that they go to. They're both 80 years old, and they make their Social Security income. My mom gets $840, and my dad gets $1,250. So they make about $2,000 a month in Social Security income. They have their store the whole life, so they have no pension, no savings to speak of. If it wasn't for the equity in their home, I don't know what they would do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, it's your own little savings account.
For sure.
If you look at it as you're putting instead of having a savings account at a bank, you're having a savings account as the home you own. And if you think of it in that terms, that you're investing, even for the people that don't invest and don't save part of their paycheck to you should always put down 10% at least
they say
in
for savings.
at least for savings. But that is your own. It's a backup way to have a savings account and a great way to ensure your future existence and having some sort of money and equity as you grow older and go on through life.
Imagine if you hit one of those big things like here in town, we saw 30% increases in properties over the course of a couple of years. That made you more money in wealth than you could have working in a lot of cases.
I sold a house to a buddy of mine. And he bought it, and a year and a half later, the house went up, and he's like, "How much more can I get for the house?" And I said, "Probably about 30. You probably make, after all said and done, you make $30,000 more than what you bought it for
a year?
A year ago." I go, "But you're gonna have to pay capital gains taxes on it because even though you've only lived in it, you've lived in it a year, you haven't lived in it 2.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to pay. If you wait one more year, you won't even have to pay taxes on that, and it'll probably go more." And he said, "Nope, I want the 30 grand, man."
Whoa.
And so I go, "Well, what are you going to do?" He's like, "I don't care. I'm taking the 30 grand and running." And so I'm like, all right. I advised him against it. He sold it, made his 30 grand, went and rented. That house is now worth about 100 grand more. That was only 3 or 4 years ago.
Imagine.
It's worth at least 100 grand more.
Left
so instead of the
$100,000 on the table.
he could add 100,000 more and not pay taxes on it. So it's a short-term thinking like that.
Where else are you going to put $130,000 together in 3 years? It's just impossible to do.
It's also
That's not taxed.
Yeah.
Yes, but that is a
perfect
short period of
moment.
time. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, you could have done the same thing in 2006 and bought a house, and 4 years later, you're upside down $200,000. So
that was me.
Yeah.
We'll get into more real estate with the Doug Hopkins Flippin' Real Estate Radio Show right here on KTAR. Hang on.
So I want to talk about, I had Dylan, who's the manager of quite a few of the realtors here, right? He's the boss. I had him write a letter for me. And great job, Dylan. You had your little ones that are screaming in the background.
Do you use proper context like them and I?
Well, no.
Well, here's the thing. I told him to write, to whom it may concern, and then to write it, right? He put to whole it may concern.
Yes, I did.
WHOLE. What the heck? To whole it may concern. Like
I
the
did
whole
voice to
people.
text.
All the whole people. What did you? I was
To
still
whole it may concern.
And I thought, okay, maybe he didn't he's misspelled it, but no, he thought like the whole people. To whole it may concern.
Hold
I did
on,
not
that
say
was
that.
not a mistake. That was actually your thought on how it
No.
goes.
My wife left me alone with my 2 youngest children. They're screaming in the background for macaroni and cheese. I'm burning it on the stove. Kevin's calling me saying I misspelled something as I'm doing voice to text.
Oh, goodness.
It was a nightmare.
Oh, that was funny. And I was like, I can't send this in there. Like, what kind of manager doesn't know whom and whole?
And then I sent it from my cell phone. He goes, "Dylan, your signature's not in that because you sent it from your cell phone. So I have to go grab my
know.
computer."
Anyway, we got it all worked out. So
It was good.
Yeah.
No, but that's the kind of stuff that Kevin does. He goes above and beyond. We had a small issue with the underwriting, and Kevin just was bending over backwards to make sure that this loan goes through. And I think that's what truly sets people apart in the lending world, is that most lenders just want the easiest file ever. They only know how to deal with people that are W-2 with a fantastic debt to income and have a perfect credit score and have no, revolving debt or anything like that. Whereas Kevin can take somebody that's self-employed, owns their own business, and really guide them through that process to help them get a fantastic rate. He can structure things a couple of different ways and to get it done, whereas a lot of people would have just thrown in the towel and said, "Oh, we're done."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and here's the crazy part. Everybody has to follow the same guidelines, right? But
Yeah.
within those guidelines, there's a lot of gray area.
Totally.
There's different ways you can calculate income. There's different ways of looking at a situation. And if you don't, if you're not experienced, you don't know, and the underwriter tells you, "Oh, sorry, no," then you just go, "Oh, okay," and you go on. But I don't do that. I'll say, "Listen, this makes sense. What do I need to do to prove to you that this is the correct way to do it?" And so then you jump through the hoops, you get the letters, to whole it may concern, whatever. It works. But no, I appreciate Dylan stopped everything and wrote the letter because we had to get this thing done, and it ended up working, and we got it through. And again, this was a loan that was denied, actually, and I was able to bring it back. And the whole idea is, well, how does that work if everybody's kind of following the same guidelines? Well, especially with self-employed, there's so many things that go into being self-employed and proving like that they had done that kind of work before, even though they're newly self-employed. So there's a lot of little things and tricks you can do to show that, okay, I said tricks.
It's not really tricks, though. You're using what's in their background and collating it the right way so that it looks right to them, so that the people that see the file go, oh, makes sense.
Yeah,
It's giving them the information the right way.
Yes, right. And letting them know that he's been in sales 13 years. So the fact that he sold something differently,
widgets
sales,
instead of
sales are sales.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that the art of the letters is gone. You know, a lot of these younger LOs never even think to write a letter. They're just like, oh, I sent them a pay stub, I sent them this, and they're not taking it. Well, explain it. Explain why the numbers aren't quite matching, or what happened. Was he off for 2 weeks because of a funeral, or did he get unpaid for a month for something that happened, surgery
Was
or
he in
whatever?
training?
Yeah, I remember one time you said that you were able to actually show somebody was getting a raise, and so they weren't able to show it in their background. But you're like, dude, he's gonna make this amount of money in the future. It's already started.
Yes.
And they were able to actually change stuff in certain cases like that too.
So what I did is I went back and calculated the number of hours that he had worked the previous 2 years, and I applied the new raise to that, and then he qualified. Whereas they were just taking it and averaging it out. And I said, no, he has this raise. They're not going to, give
Take
him
it,
less.
yeah.
So I was able, once he had the raise and I had it on one pay stub, I went back and calculated the hours and then added it.
Now that's just one smart little move to get you around a huge obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, it meant either getting the house or not. You know?
Let me ask you a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
So I was at, this was earlier in the week, right? I had gone and looked at this guy's house. He's like, I'm trying to buy this other home. I'll let you know if I get the home, I'm selling it to you.
Okay.
I'm going to sell you my house so I can get the new house. So last week, earlier in the week, he calls me up and says, okay, I'm ready to sell your house. I'm going to get to the home. I'm going to get the home. But I just got laid off. This home's supposed to close like July 1st for the new home. So I need to close mine by July 1st and then move into the new home. And I said, but you got laid off.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but it doesn't happen until I got a severance package, and it doesn't happen until July 8th. And I said, man, I would hate to buy your house, close on it, and you don't have a place to live because your loan gets denied at the last second. I said, you need to talk with your loan officer because they're going to send out a verification
They're
of
going to call
employment.
that day. Yes.
And
the day of
before
closing.
they send their money and do a verification of employment. And I would hate for me to buy this house and then you be homeless and don't have a place to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I please, I'm looking out for you here. Just make sure that your loan officer says that's going to be okay. And I said, otherwise, I don't feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah. No, that's smart of you.
Yeah.
What did you hear back from them?
I did not. So I'm pretty sure that they.
Dude, like you said, the rules are the rules. You can't change them.
Well, the reality is you can't. Two big things that people, if you get laid off or you switch jobs in the middle of a loan, creates a lot of problems, obviously. Or buying big items like cars that aren't Dylan's truck, that cost a lot of money. So what we always encourage him to do is just be upfront with us. Let's figure it out. Now he got laid off. Most likely he'll find another job. Yep. But until he does, he's not going to get that house. And for good, I mean, obviously he's not, that income isn't there anymore. So it's just and lenders, back in the old days they might verify it one time and then not verify it. Now they verify it the day of funding usually, or within a day or two. Yeah,
that's amazing, dude.
Well, that was good you didn't, because you're right. He'd have been out.
Yeah, I do. The last thing I wanted to do is have a guy I don't know what to do, and I'm at their house, and they're like, "Well, we can't move because we have no place to go." And I'm like, "Well, I've already paid for the house.
Now they're your renter."
Yeah, so I didn't want that to happen. Yeah. So, and I also, I wanted to make sure that I was doing right by them. They needed to know that that's the case. They just thought that we're going to get in before that, and then they'll get another job and not worry about it. But
do you actually worry about how people are how they're going to feel and what's going on with them, which is kind of amazing. I've seen you actually stress out about people's
100%. Yeah, for sure.
And most people don't care.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine the headlines? Doug buys their house, makes people homeless.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, I went out to another house this last week. A lady, she had gotten a divorce a couple of years ago, single mom, and this beautiful home that she had, and she just can't take care of it anymore. Over 2,000 square feet. The pool was green. She hasn't been taking care of that. The out front, there was a bunch of weeds and everything. She just didn't have the money to keep on going and paying for everything and supporting everyone on the one salary. And so I came in and I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. We came to an agreement on the contract. And then I said, I'm going to have my landscaper come out and do your landscaping out front, so they'll stop fining you, and because that money comes out of her proceeds. Right. So I said, I'll have my landscaper come out and do the landscaping, and then I'll have my pool guy come out, because it doesn't close till the end of July. I'll have my pool guy come out tomorrow, drain the pool, fix it up, and that way you guys and your kids can enjoy the pool until the end of July while you stay here. And she started crying. She couldn't believe that I was willing to do that. But, those are the things you got to do. And that's one of the reasons I'm in this business is, I'm a realtor with a heart, and an investor with a heart. And I'm looking at people, not just the house. I'm looking at the people. And that's what really affects me. That's why I love doing this, is to really make a difference and to help people. And that's what it's all about. Making it easier on this lady who has been through the ringer over the last few years, just giving her a little bit better time. And they bought that. She's like, I was pregnant with my daughter when I bought this house, and this was so important, and I nested and did all this stuff, and she's like, we used to swim all the time, and now it was all green and everything else. So it was pretty cool to see, and to see how happy that made her.
That's
so
awesome.
That's awesome. So that's being pumped out right now, actually. So that pool is going to get done. Hopefully, they'll be swimming in there by Monday or Tuesday. Hey, anyway, thank you for spending your early Saturday afternoon with us. Really appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Twitter, and TikTok. I hope you have a really, really great rest of your weekend. Don't forget to also tune in next week with a very, very special guest that Dylan won't be here, which is good because he almost blew it today by saying he almost blew it by saying the name. But anyway, I think Chris X'd that out just in time. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend, and as always, happy investing.